Good evening, all. On behalf of Professional Development Committee of Institute of Cost Accountants of India, I welcome you all for today's webinar. Our today's speaker is Dr. Girish Jakotia, sir. Sir is a renowned international business consultant and economist, supporting 60 plus clients in and outside India. He has also offered his services to the World Bank, Government of Oman, ICMAI, London, etc. His books on professional subjects like strategy and finance are quite popular in the corporate world and also in the universities. His book, Strategic Financial Management, has been widely followed by Indian students and teachers. His latest book, Economic of Survival, was recently published by Manipal Universal Press, a publishing division of Manipal University, India. Sir has advisor for Indian and foreign companies like Tata Group, Mahindra Group, JK Group, British Petroleum, Siemens, Godrej, Larsen and Toubro, etc. While working with well-known Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies, University of Mumbai, Sir received the Best Young Indian Professor Award for his research. For his Hello. Sorry, sir, there is some connectivity issue. Yeah. Sir has received Best Young Indian Professor Award for his research and teaching excellence from the Association of Indian Management Schools. 5 scholars received PhD under his guidance. His research paper has been published in national and international journals. He has delivered more than 2,000 lectures in and outside India during the last 4 decades. He holds a few copyrights. His new book titled Aspiring to a CEO shall be released soon. Sir is a fellow member of Institute of Cost Accountants of India and also a member of American Economic Association. He is a president of Unit of Mumbai Grahak Panchayat, a consumer movement. He is a well-known author in Marathi. He has received 12 literary awards in Marathi, which include an award from the government of Maharashtra for his book on Dr. Ambedkar. His another book, Krishna Niti, is very popular across India. He recently completed his research work on the ancient Indian culture and philosophy. Dr. Jakotia plays chess and love singing also. Now I request sir to please start his session. Thank you, sir. Sir, you are on mute.
Am I audible now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
I'm audible, no? Okay.
Sir, again you are in mute, sir.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, now it is okay.
Okay. I repeat my statement. It is my humble duty to thank WIRC, especially my young friend, the member of WIRC Council, Mr. Mohurir, CMA Mr. Mohurir, and also from admin, our colleague, Mrs. Gauri Fadke. She coordinated this session for all of us. Friends, our today's session is role of a management accountant in strengthening the management control system. Let us call it MCS. And let me also tell you, maybe this is my professional statement. This is one area, management control system. Its design, conduct, that is execution, its review, its reformation, etc. Is a very good area of consulting that we management accountant can handle. We MS can handle, or let us say we CMS can handle far more better than the other categories of accountants. I would say even worldwide. And that is for one very basic reason, that the very core of MCS, very core, is there are two things, the core to be defined. One is cost benefit analysis, CBA, and the second one is benchmarking. In the course of our discussion, we'll refer to these two core components of any MCS. But let me start my session with an interesting illustration. When there were no computers, no laptops, no mobiles, there were only fax machines. Okay, this is only for an academic purpose. The example I'm sharing with you. In the Birla Group, chaired by Mr. Aditya Vikram Birla, late Mr. Aditya Birla, okay, there was a native design definition application of MCS, Management Control System. And it was based on, as we call it today in a strategic language, the indexation method. Okay, like there is a stock market index, Bombay Stock Exchange Index, okay, or maybe National Stock Exchange Index. So there was a composite performance index that was called in Marwadi Rajasthani language as Parta. Parta is the result and Partal is the cost. Again, it was a kind of an exercise of every day, every week, every month cost benefit analysis. कि मैंने कितनी कॉस्ट इनकर करी है, ओके, और मुझे रिजल्ट क्या मिल रहा है. Now I repeat, there was no sophisticated system that was backed by computerization, laptops, mobiles, okay, forget AI, etc., etc. But that was the homegrown MCS in the Birla Group, across Birla Group. Why am I sharing this example with you? Management control system is basically for three purposes. Okay, I believe in simplicity. Therefore, the simple definition of MCS is based on the mechanism of MCS, management control system. So control by management. Okay, now control on what? Control on the business exercises, business transactions. Okay, therefore it involves 3M. The 3M of management control system. Okay, number one, obviously monitoring. When we say control, control is basically monitoring. Okay, number two, when we monitor, we try to get early warning signals. Like, I'm sitting on the backseat of a vehicle, car, and my driver is driving my car. In between, I monitor his speed, his driving skill, driving style, and sometimes I instruct him कि भाई थोड़ा धीरे चलाओ, जल्दी चलाओ, okay, इतने कट मत मारो. So the first M of any MCS is monitoring, capturing early warning signals, and very important is observing that the defined targets are being achieved before anything goes wrong. That's the whole exercise purpose of monitoring. Now, when you monitor, you get an early warning signal. Naturally, there is a scope of revision, correction, and I call it the second M, and that is modification. So monitoring, modification. But then between monitoring and modification, there is the third M, okay, which can be very well facilitated by CMS, and it is measurement. So monitoring, measurement, modification, or I would say monitoring, modification, measurement. So these three repetitive activities, they design the entire management control system. Now, when I say monitoring, modification, and measurement, naturally, MCS requires what? MCS requires the foremost component of MCS is benchmarks. The word benchmark has been derived from the European education system. Okay, that is what history says. Like in a school, in a classroom, a student stood first in the last exam. He is the brightest student in the class, and therefore there is a golden flag that is put on his bench mark. So there is a flag, and the flag is a mark indicating he was number one last exam, so that the class should get inspired, observing, watching that mark, that flag on the bench. So he is the I would say he's the enviable example, ideal example for the members of the class to follow. Therefore, what is benchmark? Benchmark is an ideal, achievable, desirable target for any performance. Okay, the performance may be strategic, operational, financial, that is commercial. The performance may be short term, long term, etc. So the very core of any management control system is benchmarking. Okay, because we all monitor our performances in the light of benchmarks. Okay, now the MCS also can be maybe in the theory of organizational structure, organizational effectiveness. Let us call MCS as a very important tool, technique in the hands of top management. जब हम कहते हैं कि भाई मैनेजमेंट का कंट्रोल कम है, मैनेजमेंट कंट्रोल इज वीक और मैनेजमेंट कंट्रोल इज स्ट्रांग, it means monitoring by the members of the top management. Okay. Now, let me therefore connect MCS with a very important document, a very important, I would say, design that the top management uses, and that is called a strategic plan. Okay. A strategic plan. What does it mean? The top management is responsible to execute the strategies already defined design, okay, in consultation with the owners of the business. Rather, part of the top management are the owners themselves. So owners and top executives together, they make the top management. So it is the top management that defines strategies. Okay. And the strategies are to be executed by the employees in the organizational hierarchy. Okay. Now, are they executing these strategies correctly, timely, adequately? Okay. With a balance between corporate governance and enterprise governance, that is with a balance between ethics, ethos, okay, and business results. Both are two sides of same coin. So when I'm conducting management control system, I'm also monitoring. I'm monitoring what? Top line, bottom line. But top line, that is sales, turnover, size, market share, and bottom line is ROI, profit. But both are to be achieved in the context of, in the framework of corporate governance. Okay, that the rules, ethos, ethics, okay, I would say the policy framework is all observed by the performance in the organization. Okay, so at the core of the MCS is the base of a strategic plan. Okay, the strategic plan, if I elaborate quickly, I will then suggest you to read a couple of books already authored by me, and they are very useful. They are very practical. So a business performs, or I would say the management controls the business of the organization. It controls what? It controls performances in 5 areas. I already told you in the beginning, I believe in simplicity. Therefore, I am simplifying my discussion, which I simplify all my clients and students. So first performance is business growth. Okay, and development. Growth is number. Okay, quantity, and development is quality. So quantity, quality, business growth. So I'm monitoring through my MCS business growth and development. Number two, obviously, is cost control, cost management. Okay, which is again tactical cost management, which is immediate for tomorrow's advantage, cost advantage, and there is a long-term or strategic cost management. We all know what is SCM or strategic cost management. That is number two. Number three, the number three purpose of MCS is controlling, monitoring, guiding the performance of employees on one side. Therefore, the satisfaction and competency of the employees on the other side. Are the employees delivering to their competency based on the targets given to them? Is there a mismatch or match between competency, that is caliber, and performance targets given? The third purpose or component of the very objectives of MCS. The fourth is, how do I monitor the application of technology? That is monitoring process performances, monitoring machine performances, monitoring the performances of all my systems, all my control systems. Okay, that is quality control system, production or manufacturing control system, supply chain control system, distribution chain control system. Okay, so the fourth is, which is also the purpose of any MCS, is the control monitoring of technology application. Okay, but then again, it should also come out with what? Early warning signals. One critical area for weak cost accountant or management accountants is what? How do we differentiate here between man performance, labor performance, or employee performance and machine performance? Imagine you are invited by your client, okay, to help their HR team and strategy team to work on their long-term settlement, wage revision. And wage, we all know, is a very important cost. Okay, it could be from 6, 10, 11%. In some cases, could be even 40, 50, 60%. Like in knowledge-based companies, IT-based companies, service companies, wage cost could be 50, 60, 70%. So you are invited. You are invited to revise the wage structure. Now there, what is very, very important when you revise a wage structure, how do you differentiate between machine performance and employee performance? Are the employees getting benefited by technology? Okay, better processes, better ideas, technological innovation, etc. And therefore, what is the cost benefit analysis? Okay, so this is number 4. And what is number 5? Number 5 is capital or fund application. Okay, again, an objective of MCS, which is very important. How do I connect each and every functional performance with the ROI of the organization? Like, can I connect the performance of a class 4 employee? If I use the hierarchical language, say a worker and his immediate supervisor, okay, who is conducting a small part of my manufacturing process. But then can I also connect that with my ROI? So that all employees, departments, divisions, business verticals, locations, plants, factories, they are connected with ROI of the organization. This is what, the new generation promoters, new generation management or owners of any business worldwide are expecting. Okay, so that there is a clarity of what? Clarity of purpose, clarity of incurring a capex. Any capex that I incur, and then therefore any routine OPEX I incur, can I every time relate it to my ROI? Okay, so friends, I quickly conclude the 5 control areas, okay, which are the 5 components of any MCS are business growth and development, cost control, cost management, both tactical and strategic, employee performances, employee competence, employee development and satisfaction. Number 4, technology and processes. Yeah. And number 5, capital employment or fund employment. So these 5 are the components of MCS. They are objectives and purposes of MCS, or they also define the very scope of MCS. Now, friends, you can imagine we management accountants have a vital role connecting all these 5. What does it mean? How do I connect the top line volume? I expect 20% increase in sales volume. But if that requires 5% increase in labor force, yeah, 10% capex to be invested in new machines, okay, and then 2% reduction in routine costs. How do I connect them? And after I connect them, what new benchmarks I develop? So number 1 conclusion, MCS is a vehicle, is a tool for what? Implementing the strategic plan defined by the top management. What is a strategic plan? It's a 5-year long-term plan, okay, which is an approach road to reach your manzil, that is vision. So my company today is of a turnover 1,000 crore. After 5 years, I want to reach a turnover of 5,000 crore. Okay, so how do I reach from 1,000 crore to 5,000 crore? How? So the answer to how is nothing but a bunch of strategies. And that is what is my strategic plan. So the top management, including the owners, they design a strategic plan, which is nothing but bunch of strategies in those 5 performance areas. So business growth strategy, cost control strategy, employee development and performance strategy, technology related strategy, and fund deployment and fundraising strategy. So the strategic plan is ready, and that gets executed through a very vital tool, a driver, a vehicle called MCS, Management Control System. So friends, now you can imagine, as I said, the execution requires what? Monitoring. कि भाई आपका ध्यान है कि नहीं, गाड़ी भटक रही है क्या, गाड़ी यहाँ वहां जा रही है क्या, ओके, और इट्स अ बैड रोड, vehicle is good, road is bad, okay, or road is good, vehicle is bad, vehicle and road both are good, my driver is bad, okay, or the environment, it is raining heavily, or there is a great amount of fog, etc., etc. And therefore, I and my driver, we both need to monitor the driving of the business vehicle, okay, regularly on a regular basis. So friends, I conclude here, strategic plan designed by the top management is executed through management control system. So MCS is at the top level. Okay. Although it has got all the components connecting to the bottom level of the pyramid of the organization. Okay. Now, a strategic plan which is for 5 years is to be converted into annual budgets. Okay. Annual budgets, annual financial budgets and annual physical or operational number budgets. Now, this is done, okay, together by the top management with the very support of the middle management. So it is the middle management that handles the budget. Therefore, the middle management is the core for the execution, implementation of management control system, MCS. Now here is the biggest role, most vital role for we CMAs. Okay, what is that? Two things here. Number one, there is a big strategy, big idea, maybe brand related, employee related, or could be business growth related. Okay, so what is number one area here for we management accountants? What cost benefit analysis mechanism we design for each strategy? How do we conduct the CBA of a strategy? Okay, because it is the strategy which is at the core of any MCS. The purpose of MCS is implement a strategy. But before a strategy is getting implemented, how beautifully, easily, smoothly we conduct CBA of a strategy. So can we management accountants design a CBA mechanism for each and every strategy so that the top management is very comfortable? Okay, number one. Number two is more critical, more difficult, more challenging. Is what? Converting an operational trigger, operational parameter, technological parameter into a financial parameter. Very important. Or converting a qualitative parameter, say quality improvisation is a qualitative parameter, okay, into a quantitative or financial parameter. Very common example here could be, how do I apply MCS to research and development department, R&D department? Especially fundamental research and applied research both are conducted. Okay, so in my MCS, what type of parameters I design, okay, which are of financial nature, but that basically requires what? Converting an R&D technical parameter into a financial parameter. Can be defined for the very strength of MCS. Okay, while strengthening the MCS, can I define an ROI for the R&D department? As if R&D department is an independent business. Imagine R&D department is separated from the organization, and it is called it is now given a new name, XYZ R&D Private Limited. So it conducts R&D services and offers to the parent organization. So the R&D division has got a separate profit and loss account and a separate balance sheet. Therefore, it has to have separate ROI, profitability. Okay, it's its capital rotation, number of applied and fundamental research projects conducted, etc., etc. So the conclusion here is, okay, what I said, converting strategic plan into annual budgets. The challenge here is there are quite a few strategies and their components which are technical, operational, or qualitative. How do we convert them into financial parameters? Okay, but that requires what? That is my first suggestion to my young management accountants who are attending my session here. Please see what is your competence in techno-commercial area. We are very good commercially. In a sense, commercial acumen, we call it financial acumen. But then are we also compatible with technology? I call it techno-commercial. Okay, so you understand the business of the client so thoroughly that you also talk the language of technology. If you understand, talk the language of technology, okay, you can convert those technological or technical, I would say KRA or KPI. We call KRA key result areas or KPI key performance indicators. So those KRAs and KPIs we can convert into financial numbers or financial parameters. And let me tell you, it is interesting because it is challenging. Okay, so now at the middle level are the budgets, and I call them BCS. What is BCS? Budgetary Control System. So the MCS which is a vehicle of conducting, implementing strategic plan, the MCS, okay, is getting converted into annual, quarterly, monthly, fortnightly, weekly budgets. And in a very simple language, if you ask me what is a budget is nothing but a bunch of benchmark KRAs, okay, with their targeted values. कि भाई इतना परफॉर्मेंस करना है, okay, sales budget, sales volume budget, sale price budget, sales expense budget. These are nothing but the budgeted, forecasted, estimated, I would say targets for each and every KRA, KPI. So there are functional KPI or KRA. You decide their what you call benchmark values. This is what is to be achieved, and therefore that becomes in a sum total a budget. Okay, so budgetary control system is the financial conversion, okay, of the strategic plan on an annualized, quarterly, 6 monthly, monthly basis. Okay. Now, without a budget, without a financial number, without a financial KRA parameter, okay, MCS is impossible. Because what I'm controlling is basically what? In our accounting costing language, okay, every period I'm looking at what is my budget, that is my target, and what is actually happening. Therefore, what is that deviation? That deviation I'm monitoring. Before that deviation becomes unfavorable, we call it unfavorable variance. Okay, if it becomes an unfavorable variance after the performance is done and then I try to correct it, it would be after death the doctor. That is not the purpose of monitoring. That is measurement. Monitoring is controlling a situation that it should not go out of my hand. Now here is the next challenging area and the scope of consulting for the management accountants. Very beautiful, very interesting. Is what? How do we define early warning signals? Okay. Are there early warning benchmarks? Like, a mother is closely observing her child, son or daughter. Okay. She's the best, what you call, guru, monitor, advisor, caretaker, etc. But she knows what? Early warning signals. Okay. कि भाई मेरे बच्चे को क्या हो रहा है? कुछ गड़बड़ है. Okay. खाना नहीं खा रहा है. यानी खाना नहीं खाना है, बुखार है. Okay. What you call digestive system में गड़बड़ है, कहीं पर गड़बड़ है. So there are external symptoms. Those external symptoms, drive the mother to the health assessment of a child. Now, these symptoms are nothing but early warning signals. Okay, and these early warning signals are very vital. Now, here again, there are early warning signals which are long-term of a strategic nature, which are short-term of an operational nature. Like, economy of a country is not doing well. Suppose, any country for that matter. So what are the symptoms? What are the early warning signals? Okay, are the people not buying enough? Okay, maybe I would say, are the people not buying enough of their everyday routine clothes? Like, their undergarments, underwears, etc. Are they not buying enough? Are they not spending enough on food and food related items? Or a higher percentage of their salary is getting consumed by food and other items? These are at macro level, and these are also the early warning signals. So these early warning signals will have to be defined for a business entity, for a business enterprise. Otherwise, the very purpose of MCS, management control, okay, won't be served. Okay, won't be served if there are no early warning signals. Now, the next challenge here, and again, therefore, a scope of consulting for we management accountants is what? How do we design a risk return mechanism? Also part of management control system. I'm controlling business means what? Again, in a very simple language. I'm visualizing an expected risk. Okay. And then I'm saying what? There is no business without risk, except the very monopoly businesses. Okay. But then how do I estimate? How do I would say look at the early warning signal that the risk is going out of my hand. It was yesterday a calculated risk. Now it is going beyond my control. Okay. For example, I've been importing some raw material from China. Why? Because it's quite cheap. Okay. And then, there is a supply chain consistency, etc., etc. But then suddenly I find as a strategic indicator, strategic early warning signal that my government has a different policy framework. China is not viewed very correctly worldwide, globally, and therefore there can be problems tomorrow. So my signal is I should not depend only on a Chinese supplier. Then who are my alternate suppliers? Okay, who are my alternate vendors? Now, here it is not just the element of cost or quality. It is also the element of dependability. To what extent can I depend on my Chinese supplier? This is a little bigger example. What can be a smaller example? A smaller example, my purchase team comes to me and my purchase team says that we are not able to negotiate better or very efficiently with the vendors. Why? Because what is the early warning signal here? The market signal is not coming timely from the marketing team to the production team and from the production team to the purchase team. Okay. Therefore, the purchase team says, if at all we want to negotiate on cost, we should first know what improved quality we should expect from the vendor. And for that improved quality, if there is a little increase in cost or price expected by the vendor, okay, that may be legitimate. So it means the purchase department is coming to me with a complaint that we are not getting enough early warning signals through the management control system. So friends, let us first conclude on a very important what you call aspect here. MCS is not just financial control. MCS is equally an operational or technical control. Therefore, I always tell my students and clients and maybe I would say even management accountants, as far as possible, to see that the MCS is beautifully executed in each and every budgetary statement, budget, can there be two columns, one for financial numbers and the second for operational or physical numbers. Okay, then there should be third column, and that is for a qualitative description. Say cost of quality management. Therefore, quality expected. Therefore, quality expected A triple plus, A plus plus plus. Okay, is a quality expectation. Now I'm coming to the next consulting scope for the management accountants. Now quality expected A triple S. Okay, now what is the routine cost to be incurred for A triple plus? Okay, if that is 100 rupees. No, strategically, don't take me otherwise. No, A triple plus is not expected by my customer because my customer cannot afford to pay 100 rupees for A triple plus. He says my budget is only 70 rupees. So he says, give me A 2 plus plus. Okay, A 3 plus plus. Okay, don't give me because I can't pay you 100 rupees. Now the point here is 100 to 70, the gap of 30 rupee price, and A triple S to A 2S. How do I correlate them? Okay, you are getting me. How do I correlate them? It means we will have to work on a new method which we apply very routinely. We call it indexation method. So in management control system, you are controlling almost, I would say, 50% qualitative performances. Can you imagine performance of an HR executive, R&D executive, quality management executive? Okay, I would even say a warehouse manager executive, warehouse manager's performance. So half of the performances are qualitative, where cost is incurred. Okay, cost is incurred. But then every time as a management accountant, you can't get a physical or a financial number. Okay, the quantification that leads to a proper financial control, we all are in a comfort zone. But the comfort zone is not there where there are qualitative critical parameters. Now, the other side of these under indexation is what? Interdepartmental performances. Look at the complexity of business, complexity of a business organization. Interdepartmental KRAs or KPIs, where a marketing team, production team, and purchase team, all three are working together. Even the HR department, the HR team is also helping them for employee productivity. Now, I call them in the HR language, I call them as coordinative KRA, interdepartmental KRA. But this interdepartmental KRA or KPI, to what extent can I quantify them? And more important, out of that quantified parameter, what portion is the responsibility of marketing team, production team, purchase team, HR team, because it's a joint performance. So if I say my shop floor in my factory is incurring extra cost and there is an investigation because the MCS has given me an early warning signal last week, last month, the shop floor cost, the manufacturing cost has increased by 0.2%. Investigation. Investigation comes out with what? An interfunctional or coordinated KRA. And then fixing the responsibility becomes difficult. Okay. And then I find that the management control system is causing a different problem, and that is blame game. The blame game is between those 2-3 functions. What is that? The production people would say, we didn't get feedback from marketing team timely, adequately, authentically. Therefore, we could not convey to the purchase people what to get from the vendors. Okay. And therefore, the vendor performance has not been very good. And therefore, there is an extra cost incurrence. I'm taking you to the intricacies of MCS, management control system. Okay. So we can improvise the management control system. As the title of my session says, how do we strengthen the management control system? Okay, we can improvise the management control system by using an indexation method. अब ये indexation क्या है? Okay, it is subjective. I also believe in a very simple philosophy. Something is better than nothing. This is my suggestion to all young management accountants. Okay, don't be theoretically an excessive perfectionist. If you're an excessive perfectionist, okay, probably you won't be very comfortable designing an MCS. Okay, why? Because every time you're talking about 100% accuracy in an MCS, which may not be there. Because there is no 100% accuracy in a business. And therefore, the market also may not expect 100% accuracy. The market expects early results. Okay, adequate early results. Now, coming back to indexation, I take an example. Example, repairs and maintenance. Therefore, controlling repairs and maintenance cost, which could be huge. Okay, civil maintenance, electric maintenance, electronic maintenance, mechanical maintenance. Yeah, imagine now repairs and maintenance. Then the indirect cost of repairs and maintenance, if it is not effective, is production stoppage, machine failure. Employees are not very comfortable handling the machines. Okay, so repairs and maintenance. Now repairs and maintenance, you have some KRAs or KPIs monitoring the performances of the repairs and maintenance team vis-a-vis their internal customers. I call them internal stakeholders. So all other departments in the organization are the internal customers of repairs and maintenance. Okay. Now here, for that repairs and maintenance department and its performance, how do I apply indexation? Okay, on a 0 to 5 scale. So repairs and maintenance, the financial parameters are repairs and maintenance cost. But what about the quality of repairs and maintenance? So if my internal team says that we offer the best repairs and maintenance, therefore let us not outsource from outside to cut down on cost. The outside agency may provide me the same service for a cost of 80 rupees. My internal cost is 100 rupees. 80 versus 100, apparently 80 looks better. But then there is a quality difference, the difference of dependability, difference of privacy, difference of secrecy. Okay, especially dependability and quality. So my internal manager repairs and maintenance says, sir, we are incurring 20 rupees more for that dependability, quality. We are offering a triple plus. The vendor offers a double plus. That's all. Now I use the indexation method of doing what? I gather responses, feedback from the internal stakeholders who are consuming the repairs and maintenance services on a 0 to 5 scale. Okay, 5 is extraordinary, excellent, outstanding. 4 very good, 3 good, 2.5 is average. Okay, 2 is poor, 1 is very poor, and 0 is nil. Imagine, this is my 5 to 0 scale. Now, an internal stakeholder, internal department gives a feedback. Oh yes, the repairs and maintenance service is outstanding. I convert it to 5 on my 5 to 0 scale. Okay, some other department says it was just good. Good means 3 on a 5 to 0 scale. So what I'm doing here, converting those qualitative responses to the performance of repairs and maintenance into numbers. Okay, why? Because unless it is a number, I cannot club it with my other financial parameters. My other financial KRAs, financial parameters are quantitative. Okay, so there are qualitative KRA, there are quantitative KRA. How do I club them? And their clubbing requires indexation. Indexation, maybe, as I said, 5 to 0 scale. You are comfortable 10 to 0 scale, 100 to 0 scale. Okay, that is your comfort and the requirement of the business. We normally use 5 to 0 scale. Now there are responses about repairs and maintenance, and then therefore there is a reference of cost incurred for repairs and maintenance. Okay, the cost incurred was 100 rupees. That was supposed to be for outstanding repairs and maintenance performance, that is 5. But the average is coming out only 3.5 between good and very good. Now this facilitates what? The very purpose of MCS is what? Modification, as I told you. Okay, monitoring, measurement and modification. My MCS should come out with certain observations that there is a modification required in the performance, productivity, mechanism, methodology of repairs and maintenance department, and the way the internal stakeholders consume it. Not that we should always blame repairs and maintenance people. Sometimes we have to blame the internal stakeholders also, that they don't make the machines available time for repairs and maintenance. And then there is a blame game. Okay, so conclusion here, which is an area, concerning area for we management accountants, is indexation. Now, this indexation can be further more challenging. Okay, and interesting, therefore very useful scope for we CMAs. And what is that? The same MCS can be also used with a very vital, difficult, challenging parameter, and that is valuation. We also conduct, as consultants, we conduct business valuation, brand valuation, patent valuation, copyright valuation, human resource valuation, valuation of vendors' performance, okay, stockist performance, blah, blah, blah. They all are part of business valuation. Now, the point here is, in my MCS, I have developed a parameter, a KRA, okay, and that KRA is about valuation. Are my business verticals and functional divisions contributing enough to the valuation of my business? In a simple language, is it appreciating the shareholders' value? We call it shareholder value appreciation. Okay, worldwide, the ultimate reality is business valuation. Okay, which leads to what? If it is a listed company, the price of my share. Okay, the price of my share represents, I'm not talking about stock market uncertainties and speculation. I'm talking about a direct relationship between valuation and my stock price. Okay, if valuation is great, the price also is great. The price of my stock, my share should represent my valuation. Now, this is expectation of my MCS, management control system. Okay, why? Because the ultimate theory is, are my shareholders happy? Okay, they are not happy with the dividend because 99% shareholders are not expecting huge dividends. They are expecting price appreciation. This also is part of my MCS. Okay, at budgetary level, because budgets are to deliver on what? The strategy. And one strategy is, suppose the market price of my stock, my share today, for a 10 rupee face value, it is rupees 200 now. Okay, from 200, will it reach up to 300? And that could be an appropriate time for the management to come out with an IPO and raise funds. Okay, so that we collect a lot amount of share premium, and therefore the dilution in present ownership is minimum possible, etc., etc. Now this also can be part of my MCS, which is a combined KRA. It's a strategic KRA, also a budgetary KRA. So friends, I repeat, strategic plan, okay, is driven through MCS, management control system. But that MCS is driven through what now? Budgetary control system. Because if I make only a strategic statement, which my managers may not understand unless I give them monthly targets, quarterly targets. Okay, so they would understand quantifiable targets, and that too for smaller periods. Like, if I just say strategically, my purchase team should reduce procurement cost by 1%. Decided. But then they would require an agenda. Also, they would expect from me what? How? So that how is part of strategic plan. Okay. And the quantification detailing is part of my budgetary control system, BCS. So can I tell my purchase team, you reduce procurement cost by 1%. Okay. Not at the cost of quality of procurement, dependability, timing of procurement, and vendor relationship. Okay. Then through what? Now this takes my MCS to my vendor's business also. Can I apply my MCS, management control system, to my vendor? Because vendor is very much part of my supply chain. My vendor may not have a good MCS. My MCS is very good. So can I capture early warning signals, benchmarks, KRAs, KPIs, which I apply to my vendors? All professionally managed companies, why they become great? Because they also apply MCS to vendors and suppliers. They apply MCS to distributors, stockists, and dealers. Now you can imagine how the scope of a management accountant can expand. Okay, so you imagine the value chain, business model of your client organization. Now that business model heavily depends on vendors and suppliers, where they save a lot of costs. A lot of cost is saved in procurement, raw material costs. Okay, whereas a company, brand-based company like Hindustan Unilever, may love to reduce costs, save costs in its marketing function. Okay, brand management costs, because its manufacturing cost could be negligible. Producing a soap or a detergent, the cost, okay, the manufacturing cost may be 20% of total cost. 80% could be marketing cost. Why am I saying this to you? There is an army of stockists with Hindustan Unilever or Johnson & Johnson or Procter & Gamble, or for that matter, any FMCG. Okay, so how do I apply this MCS to my stockist? Okay, now that comes to what you call a target set given to my stockist. Therefore, my stockist budget. Yeah, so my procurement budget for my vendor. Okay, my distribution budget for my stockist. But MCS is now extended to the supply chain and distribution chain. Now the value chain is expanding. My value chain includes these two stakeholders also. So budgetary control system is very vital, because it is the, let me conclude, it is the financial conversion of the MCS. It is a financial quantifiable conversion of the strategically important KRAs, long-term KRAs, okay, qualitative KRAs. And there, the gap which I said between qualitative and quantitative parameter, the gap could be breached, okay, through what? Indexation. This indexation, one can work a lot on indexation, okay, through the techno-commercial approaches, taking support from the engineers, technocrats from the organization. But this is what will be very vital when we try to implement MCS at the bottom of the pyramid. And that is OCS. I call it operational control system. So friends, we start with a strategic plan, its driver, MCS. MCS cannot work in isolation unless it is converted into BCS. And this BCS, okay, is to be converted into OCS, operational control system. What does it mean? Micro, MICRO, micro operational KRAs or KPIs. Okay, and these are at the level of, okay, my junior officers, senior workers and supervisors, and junior workers, shop floor. In a marketing function, sales function, my salesmen who are in the market. Okay, in my procurement function, the junior most category. Okay, so in each and every function, there is a junior most category, especially in sales and manufacturing. That is sales, salesmen, and manufacturing are the worker category. Now, how do I convert the budgetary control system into the operational control system so that the management control system is executed well. And here there is another scope which a CMA will have to identify. And what is that? This is my practical experience I'm sharing with you. The top management finds that there's a serious shop floor problem, operational problem, which the top management wants to monitor through MCS for 6 months, for 2 months, for 1 year. I repeat, it is an operational problem, but it is to be monitored, okay, singularly with better and special attention by one member of the top management. So the executive vice president of manufacturing, okay, is wanting to monitor that issue at shop floor through OCS, operational control system. It is part of his agenda. It is his KRA now, KRA of executive vice president, maybe for 6 months or maybe for a year. And what is that parameter? The parameter is, sorry, the indicator is shop floor employee dissatisfaction, or there is reducing shop floor, I would say integrity, or number 3, there is reducing amount of shop floor, I would say synergy. The synergy is reducing, and therefore the combined productivity on the shop floor is not very good. If there are 5 processes in a manufacturing chain, there are 5 consecutive processes. Okay, the inter-process coordination, inter-process synergy has reduced. Why? How? There's an early warning signal that people are not happy, employees are not happy. Now the input coming from my vendor, it comes to my first process, or it may come to my third process also. My vendor is also not happy. Okay, and my marketing team is not happy with the last process where my final product comes out. So there are early warning signals. So the top management says, this one operational KRA, we want to supervise for 6 months. Why? It has become a critical issue. We want to improve it. Okay. Now, therefore, how do we connect this operational control? There is also a cost of operational control. Yeah, but more important is, very, very important is to what extent, okay, my workers and supervisors, they deliver on those operational parameters. And here is the next challenging area for we CMAs, okay, and is applying ROI, return on investment, to each and every process, each and every, what you call, functional department. Now, this can be a much bigger discussion, but this is required to strengthen the MCS. And what is this discussion? Okay, 1 second. This discussion where, as I made a statement in the very beginning of my today's presentation, we management accountants or CMAs are the best candidates worldwide compared to other categories of accountants. I'm not mentioning the categories. We're best place, okay, working on this. And what it is? In our management accounting parlance, we call it responsibility budgeting or responsibility accounting. Okay, what does it mean? To what extent can we convert a cost center into a profit center? If not really, at least notionally. Conversion of a cost center into a profit center, and then ultimately a profit center into an investment center. So a profit center in mathematical language is a subset of investment center, and a cost center is a subset of profit center. Let us take an example. Okay, a beautiful example. Okay, a beautiful example again is of purchase department, procurement department. Okay, why am I saying this to you? The other scope of management control system is, okay, can management control system facilitate converting my employees into entrepreneurs? Okay, that is what I said in the beginning. Aditya Vikram Birla, he saw that even the workers and supervisors are of an entrepreneurial mindset, so that they deliver better. They accept their function as their own business. Okay, number 1 psychologically, number 2 operationally, therefore number 3 financially. Okay, so the very purpose of management control system is better results, better and better sustainable results. Then they come from the shop floor. They come from the bottom of the pyramid. Okay, if I indulge into improving entrepreneurship at that level. So friends, we have gone beyond balance scorecard. We have converted balance scorecard, okay, into entrepreneurial scorecard. And this is another area of scope for we management accountants. Okay, both the management accountants in the industry and the management accountant in practice. I always make a statement to all my senior and other friends from Central Council, WRC, all, okay, all other regional councils that are young cost and management accountants. They did not just depend on classical traditional scope of consulting, that is cost audits. I would say working only on ERP, GST today. Yeah, there's a vital scope that I'm sharing with you through this discussion. Take challenges, work on them, become techno savvy, convert technology into finance, and you develop a fabulous MCS useful for your client. I can tell you. Now coming back to my discussion, I'm taking example of procurement purchase department. Purchase department says that they should be given additional working capital. Maybe you can call it bank line, cash credit, or cash working capital. Okay, to do what? Better negotiation with the vendors. I have two vendors. One offers me credit, 30 days. Another says he would offer me 0.5% cash discount or 1% cash discount. Now my purchase team says that can we develop 2-3 vendors for each component. Okay, a vendor on credit, a vendor for cash, but that requires more additional working capital. Okay, fine. My MCS says, okay, we'll give you additional working capital. But how do you use it? I will have to develop another parameter, KRA, benchmark. Okay, if I give, say, 5 crore working capital extra to my purchase team. Now I tell them, you are a profit center. I give you 5 crore working capital. Okay, on 5 crore, I need 20% ROI. That is 1 crore. You make a notional profit of 1 crore. Through what? Reduction in purchase cost. Or I would say for the same cost, you get me better quality. Either you get me cost advantage or quality advantage. Same cost, better quality, or same quality, cheaper cost. Okay. Or could be number 3, it is a vendor driven market. My vendors are very powerful. Half of my vendors are big multinational companies. I can't control them. I am a small or medium-sized enterprise. And therefore, I use, okay, this working capital to handle them better. Now, I'm converting my purchase department, okay, from cost center to profit center. So there are new benchmarks, new KRAs, which we'll have to develop. Okay. And then very important here, which I didn't speak about, I didn't talk about, okay, during last 1 year discussion is what? Weightages. Importance, weightages. Okay. Now here comes the strategic understanding of a management accountant. Okay. Deciding those weightages. So you have to now look at what? Weightages of the KRAs which we are using in a management control system. Why? Because MCS is not here, okay, to concentrate 90% of the resources of MCS, time of MCS on C category parameters. The challenges are of A category KRAs, A category parameters which are most critical. C also should be controlled. Okay, so that C doesn't become A. So a very simple parameter, if you do not monitor, may become critical tomorrow. It is like, a health symptom. You are neglecting a health symptom. You are not sleeping enough during night time. And therefore, it is, it may cause you hypertension. Hypertension may lead to blood pressure. Blood pressure may lead to something else. So a KRA, which is very simple to monitor, if not monitored enough, timely, may become critical tomorrow. I agree. But what I'm saying here is, which is more important, okay, out of my all those KRAs and KPIs, which are of A category or A plus category, which are very critical, they decide 80 to 85% of my bottom line. I need to look at them. Okay. Now that comes back to what? Weightages. Let us take an example. Management control system, monitoring performance of salespeople, marketing people. What are the marketing KRAs? Okay. Qualitative is strengthening my brand. Quantitative, sales volume. Quantitative, getting better sale price. Quantitative, sales expense control. Quantitative, new customers gain. Agreed. Okay. But then the first one, which also is very important, is my salesman's behavior, his approach. Okay. How does he deal with a stockist in the market, distributor, dealer, that the dealers and distributors are retained. Today, many companies are fighting with what? Retention of stockists and dealers and distributors. Why? They are not happy. Why? The KRAs of my salespeople are mostly quantitative and they work on quantitative KRAs, forgetting there are more challenging qualitative KRAs. And those are not brought under indexation. Okay. Now, therefore, the example of a salesman, 4, 5, 6, 7 KRAs or KPIs. How do I club them together and see that the sales function, the sales department, okay, now becomes it is a profit center. They earn profit through sales. But can I convert it into an investment center? I remember an example long back. Okay, there was a subsidiary of Indian Oil Blending Limited, for its lubricant business. So there was a subsidiary that used to do only blending. Okay, it would get raw material from the parent company, blend it, and again give it back to the sales team of the parent company. So it was only a blending function that was separated out from Indian Oil, and that was called Indian Oil Blending Limited. Okay. Was it strategically correct or incorrect is a different discussion. The point here is blending process, very important in lubricant business, marine lubricants, automobile lubricants, okay, all those types of lubricants. Yeah. So the marketing team was strong. Okay. Blending was to be improved. Therefore, it was separated into a separate company. Now, the point here is, without creating a separate company as subsidiary, within the organization, can we convert each and every function into an investment center? That the function, department, location, plant, activity is an independent business. And my friends, I can tell you, this is the most challenging, interesting area of consulting or functioning, performing for the management accountants. On our own, if you are working in a company, manufacturing company, or even service company, on our own, we should go back to management. This is how we are going to enlarge our own value chain, our indispensability. Otherwise, quite a few of us may be worried of what? To what extent artificial intelligence is going to replace our function. Okay. Is AI going to replace us? Is AI going to replace some of our performances? Why worry? We expand our value chain. We go back to the management and we say that this is my value proposition. So this is how I can connect the bottom line performances with the ROI of the organization. Let us attach ROI to each and every function. And I can tell you, friends, with my last 40 years experience, each and every management would love to see that there is a component in MCS where there is a mechanism that connects a shop floor function with company's ROI. If the shop floor function improves in its quality, time consumption, wage reduction, to what extent my ROI would improve? Can I convert that into a software program? Okay, so that let me take a difficult example here. HR example. And what is that? Companies after companies are now expecting what? ROI on training. A training program conducted. Okay, suppose you conduct a training program in your company, okay, maybe a finance for non-finance executives or a management accounting program for the engineers of your company. Your company may say, you are a cost accountant, you are a management accountant. This program may cost us, say, some 5 lakh rupees, outstation program, cost of stay. Okay, and then those participants who attend your program for 2 days, their salary of 2 days is also the indirect cost of the program. Now the management says, through HR, can you develop a mechanism which also is part of MCS ROI on training. And then the company says, can you develop an ROI? How this training will improvise their efficiency, productivity, and then how will it come out with better performances, results? I agree that today training is conducted and tomorrow the performance has improved. ऐसा होता नहीं है, agreed. But then 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, there could be some what you call technical training programs which are expected to offer results in 30 days time, especially at worker and supervisory level. Okay. Now, this again is a matter of what? Is a matter of we converting into financial parameters KRAs, which are far more better, what you call quantifiable benchmarks. And this is one big area where we have to work very closely with the technocrats in our organization. Okay, because they talk the language X by Y, we talk the language 5 by 3. In reality, X by Y and 5 by 3 may be same, may be equal. But they have a barrier, they don't understand finance, and we don't understand so adequately, so comfortably technology. Okay, so management control system. Now here comes another very, very specialized area where we want to apply MCS. And that's a very critical area. And what is that? CapEx incurrences, capital expenditure incurrences. Okay, can you develop a mechanism? Part of MCS, CapEx budget. Okay, every company would love to see that we release a CapEx budget, 20 crore, 10 crore, 100 crore, but how it is getting utilized. There's a gap here. The gap between the technocrats from production department asking a CapEx budget from the finance department for 20 crore imported machines from Germany. Now we finance people, okay, maybe we management accountants, to what extent we are comfortable assessing that proposal, assessing a German machine vis-a-vis an Israeli machine, vis-a-vis an Indian machine. There are many technical parameters. Okay, those technical parameters, some of them could be even qualitative, and that's a challenge. Now, look at such CapEx areas in your organization. What are those CapEx areas? Okay, which are a vital part of MCS, management control system. Okay, where we develop a techno-commercial, what you call a framework. And that techno-commercial framework, okay, also takes care of what? Risk return analysis. You importing a machine from Germany. There are some risks associated. One risk is repairs and maintenance. Now the German company doesn't have a branch in Mumbai or Bangalore or maybe Pune or wherever. But your machine can't go back to Germany for maintenance. The German company says, vendor says, we'll educate your people. But there can be a strategic failure of the machine. Big what you call failure of the machine. The machine has to be sent back or invite a German repairs engineer. And what could be its cost? That is risk associated, number one. Number two risk, a cheaper machine coming from China. Okay, it may not be as strong as a German machine, but capex wise, it may be available for 50% of the cost. So in 100 rupee German cost, I may buy 2 Chinese machines. Right? So there is the second risk associated. A Chinese vendor supplying cheaper machines to my competitor, and my competitor is expanding his manufacturing base. So the point here is, can we become a specialist applying MCS to all types of capexes? But that comes back to what? Developing techno-commercial benchmarks, techno-commercial risk return analysis, a mechanism. That these are the risks associated with this technology, commercial risk, technical risk, operational risk, even human behavioral risk that employees may not be comfortable handling this machine, but convert through an indexation method and bring it to some financial numbers. And that is a challenging area for us. Why am I sharing this with you? We talk a lot about MCS, but we do not talk enough about those challenging, not so familiar areas of MCS where the management would be much more happy with us. And that is what is our value contribution. Okay. And this value contribution, therefore, now I'm coming to a very, very important discussion. I made a mention in the very beginning. An MCS to be very successful, two core components, cost benefit analysis every time, cost benefit analysis. Even it is required for strategy review, a management review, because the purpose of monitoring is review. I'm monitoring on a weekly basis. There are some early warning signals. We already spoke about them, and there is a review required. Review mechanism. This review is required. Okay, either should I alter the strategy itself, strategy review, or the strategy is right, should I review the mechanism of implementing the strategy? Or number three, should I review and therefore change the budget that was made available to implement the strategy, capex budget and opex budget for the strategy execution? Or number four, should I review the productivity of my team which is implementing the strategy? There are various components of review. But then every time, the review need not come out with additional capex or opex required. It may simply come out with an indication, oh yeah, we need a certain change in methodology, approach, or some improvisation in employee productivity, or some additional training to be provided. The point here is, even this review mechanism refers back to what? Again, an instant cost benefit analysis. There's a CBA also of review to be done. And the human factor is what? If you do repetitive review of the same strategy, then it may impact the confidence of your employees. Like, in some organizations, we have original budget, revised budget, okay, re-revised budget, re-revised budget. Then the very sanctity of the very target setting process is getting lost. Then employees would say, oh, in January, February and March, हमने किया क्या भाई? If a budget is getting revived each and every time, agreed. There are macro risks coming from the market and there are micro MICRO risks coming from inside. So there are external risks and there are internal risks. Within this risk framework, okay, there is an element of uncertainty. That is what I'm going to touch now. So the review mechanism, okay, should be very smooth, comfortable. Basically, we should know what we are going to review. Are we reviewing the strategy, its working mechanism, budget availability, productivity of those who are implementing it, or we are reviewing in the light of market uncertainty and market factors? Agreed. But that again goes back to what? As I said earlier, early warning signals. Now I'm coming to an important discussion. We management accountants, we have to work a lot on benchmarking. So benchmarking, especially converting technical benchmarks into financial benchmarks. And friends, there are three sources here. All of us know. The first source of benchmarks, okay, is the market itself. Okay, what the competition is doing and what the customer is expecting. So competition and customer, and of course my external, what you call stakeholders, suppliers and stockists, they offer me newer and better benchmarks. Source number one. Okay, source number two is my past data, 5-6 years statistical data. Now here comes, friends, the application of artificial intelligence. Okay, see that AI doesn't become your master. AI becomes our assistant. AI becomes, I'm not using the word servant, I'm using the word assistant, friend, associate. Okay, so in manufacturing, procurement, etc., there's a huge application, even in marketing, of AI. There are three areas of AI applications related to MCS. Okay, number one application, past data and past behavior of my performers. Both past data and past behavior. Because a component of AI could be behavioral also. How do I analyze it? Number one. Okay. Number two, the application of AI, okay, is reducing the complexity of my interdependent and independent variables. Too many variables. Okay, take an automobile example. Automobile example, take a passenger car. There could be, suppose, 300 components in the car. And some alteration in the car design may impact 20% of the components. Okay. And therefore, it may improve performance of my car, but certain components may become expensive or strategically not available because my vendors are not ready. 80% of my components come from my vendors. The point I'm making here is the second AI application is simplifying the mix of those factors, business factors, which are interdependent and independent. How do I apply AI there? The second application area. And what is the third application area? AI, artificial intelligence, okay, which may come soon, okay, very handy to be management accountants. And what is that? Self-learning machines. Okay, so let us be ready tomorrow for a technological advancement that the scientists would define, design, create self-learning machines. Yeah, now this self-learning machine हम पर हावी नहीं होनी चाहिए. Okay, so what strategic management accounting lessons, mechanism I can define for a self-learning machine? That a machine does her own productivity analysis using management accounting tools and techniques, that is cost benefit analysis, and the machine comes out with a suggestion that improve in my this component area with a little more capex, yeah, I would offer you better performance. Friends, I'm visualizing it. Let us get ready for it. What does it mean? The intangible, imaginary, innovative application of AI to management accounting for strengthening MCS, management control system. You have to read a lot. Please don't take me otherwise. My son-in-law, okay, is genuinely, what should I say, a knowledgeable person in AI. He works abroad, but he educates me. I'm now 63 plus, but I'm taking a few lessons in artificial intelligence from my son-in-law. Why? Because I can see through that MCS could be better equipped if we appropriately apply AI to MCS. So I conclude here, the application of AI strengthening MCS is in three areas. Okay, as I said, number one, how do I apply it? To analyze past data and past behavior. Okay. Number two, how do I apply? Sorry, I forgot. How do I apply artificial intelligence to my risk return analysis mechanism, which is a futuristic application? And number three, self-learning machines. Now, friends, I take you to the next area of discussion. Okay, making MCS further more stronger. I'm not raising the question to you. Uncertainty and risk. Our experience says there are four risks from the market, external. Number one, risk related to the economy, very vital. Say rate of inflation, GDP growth rate, okay, economy related. Number two, government risk, fiscal risk, change in government policies, framework, etc. Simple example, GST mechanism, okay, fiscal risk. Number three, environment risk, okay, environment, socio-economic environment, natural environment, yeah. And number four, risk that imposed on me by my external stakeholders. That is my supply chain members, my vendors, suppliers, and my dealers, distributors. Of course, may include my bankers also, my financiers also. Now, the internal are again four risks. I call them internal controllable risk. Number one, obviously, technical risk, technology related risk. Number two, financial risk, which is sitting in my balance sheet or my profit and loss account. Okay, in form of cost escalations, absence of cost control. Okay, or the very capital structure of my business is faulty. It is highly leveraged or low leverage, etc. Number two, financial risk. Number three, productivity or employee related risk. Productivity related risk, very vital. And number four, cultural risk, ethos related risk. I'm not elaborating the ethos, culture, etc. Yeah. So there are four outside and there are four inside. Plus they are interdependent. Yeah. Say, for example, a change in government policy. may create a financial turbulence or problem for me. Okay, so an external risk may cause my internal risk. How do I combine these 8 risks together? 8 may become 10, 8 may become 12. This is just an example. So at the core of management control system, okay, is what? That CBA, which provides me a scope to assess risk periodically, regularly. Why? Because the gap between a risk and uncertainty are the early warning signals. I am not able to read my risk. I am not able to measure my risk. Therefore, I am not able to moderate my risk. Therefore, I am not able to monitor my risk. Therefore, I am not able to manage my risk. What does it mean? The risk has already become uncertainty. It is uncertainty. So what is uncertainty? Unknown. It is unknown. Therefore, something unknown, I can't visualize it. I can't visualize it. I can't measure it. Therefore, I can't manage it. So friends, a part of MCS, very vital, okay, is to convert uncertainty into manageable risk. मैं उल्टी बात कर रहा हूं. A, we should not allow risk to become uncertainty. But B, there are quite a few uncertainties in most of the businesses. How do I convert uncertainty into visible, manageable risk? Okay, this also is an agenda of MCS, Management Control System. Now I can convert uncertainty into risk 3 ways. Number 1, in my management control system, can I provide as part of agenda, especially for new business development, new market development, where the management expects some early warning signals while handling a new market, new product, new team, or a newly acquired business under acquisition merger. Okay, which means coming back to the early warning signal mechanism, okay, the conversion of uncertainty to risk is going what? Going closer to uncertainty, studying it. Okay, now imagine you are expanding business, putting up a business in Iran or Afghanistan or Indonesia. New project. We management accountants can study it. And what we can do? Create a risk return mechanism analysis where we convert uncertainty to risk. It has got a strategic angle. It has got a technical angle also. Okay, number 1. Number 2, how do we convert uncertainty to risk? If number 1 is not 100% possible, we can't 100% go closer to each and every uncertainty. Some uncertainty remains. Now, what is number 2? Again, a matter of monitoring is getting a local partner. I take a local partner who handles my uncertainty because my uncertainty is risk for him. It is uncertainty for him, but it is uncertainty for me, but it is risk for him. Now, under management control system, I'm talking about some special areas of MCS. What monitoring mechanism we create here? Friends, I can make a statement here. 50% of mergers and acquisitions fail worldwide because, okay, the MCS is not capable monitoring those acquisitions and mergers, okay, routinely. There is no mechanism. Enough mechanism. So this is number 2. Okay, and then what is number 3? Is also a very specialized area, and it is about what? Yet 2% of uncertainty remains. See, for a company like British Petroleum, deep ocean exploration, British Petroleum is known for it. Yet they have an uncertainty. And how do they manage it? Through an insurance mechanism. And I can tell you, in certain businesses, insurance cost may be 50-60% of the total business cost. So this is a special cost again. Through management control system, how do we monitor this insurance cost? Technology insurance, asset insurance, process insurance, employee insurance. Okay, even insurance of my warehouses, physical assets, insurance of my key employees, insurance of my, I would say, insurance against deterioration in my brand value, insurance against the dilution in my earning power of my patents. Of course, in India, let me make a very frank statement. We have not been enough innovative for the fiscal mechanism, government mechanism in the arena of insurance management. Therefore, insurance products, insurance cost management. Yeah. So when we make a statement that there is a startup and the startup invites you as a finance consultant, you are a management accountant. There are various stages in a startup, and we all know 50%, 60%, 70% startups fail. Why? Because we don't offer them innovative insurance products, okay, at a reasonable cost. We don't offer, there is no mechanism available. Okay, the mechanism that is innovatively available in countries like US, Britain, Australia, Singapore, Canada, for that matter. Yeah. So a startup working better at Silicon Valley, yeah, it may not be so efficient working here in India. Now, this again is a specialized area for we management accountants, because day after day in a globalized scenario, uncertainty is going to increase. Okay. There is an external uncertainty. Imagine what can be the result of Ukraine, Russia. Okay. Already whole of Europe denying any gas supplies from Russia. Yeah. Or what could be the impact of geopolitical ambitions of China? Companies after companies are looking at capexes and opexes, which are increasing as a result of the Chinese uncertainty. Now, what macro mechanism, MACRO, we can offer here? Now, that takes us to a big discussion, okay, which we may not factor into a 2-hour session here, is what? My suggestion to all of you, please refresh yourself a subject that you must have studied in your BCom curriculum, or some of your engineering curriculum, or maybe some other curriculum. What? Business economics, managerial economics. So friends, MCS can be strengthened if we management accountants, okay, do a little better study in managerial or business economics. Why? Because sometimes there's a thin line difference between management accounting and business economics or managerial economics. Okay. Say a very simple example which we study at intermediate level of our CMA curriculum. And we call it marginal costing, incremental costing, variable costing, okay, etc., etc. Now this marginal costing, variable costing, incremental costing, yeah, there are quite a few strategies here, and therefore they require a cost benefit analysis and a benchmarking mechanism. So friends, the second benchmarking source, as I mentioned to you, is past data, its analysis, therefore application of AI, etc., etc. And the third source is very interesting. The third source I already spoke about is what? We generating new benchmarks, cost benchmarks, productivity benchmarks, profit benchmarks, every time connecting each and every function to the ROI expected by my owners. Okay, so if there are no benchmarks available from the market, why? Because on a certain KRA, I am already number one. I am Sachin Tendulkar. I am Sarji Bupka. I am Virat Kohli. I am Anand. I am Vishwanathan Anand. I am number one. So why do I look at market? Then I use the second benchmarking source. Yeah. If I am Virat Kohli, I look at my last 5 years data that I must improvise my century performance, test cricket performance a bit. So I extend statistically my benchmark to year 7, year 8. Yeah. But what is number 3? Number 3, be connecting the performance to the ROI. If number 1 and number 2 both are not available, why number 2 may not be available? I'm a new business. Past data is not available. Not available. Okay, it's a new enterprise, new business. Then how do I create benchmarks, which are very vital for control system? MCS, ROI Connect. ROI Connect. Now, friends, I can tell you there's a lot of innovation possible here. You can refer to my book, Strategic Financial Management, and there's a chapter with the title Financial Engineering. This financial engineering, okay, is a very interesting area of financial innovation for we management accountants. It is applicable to an area called discounted cash flow theories. Like, we talk about IRR, NPV. Yeah. So can there be 10 different types of IRR? Okay. Socially relevant IRR, project IRR, investment center IRR, okay, process IRR, product IRR, etc., etc. Maybe I just share here, I think some 25 years back, roughly, when Mahindra and Mahindra launched their product called Scorpio, okay, we have been working with that organization. So we evaluated Scorpio through 6 different types of IRR using whatever data was available. And then the challenge was Scorpio to become a big brand. Okay, so we applied the the strategic management accounting theory. And what was that? ROI of Scorpio at the launch level. Scorpio is launched. What ROI? Scorpio has taken off. What ROI? Scorpio is now a mature vehicle, consolidated. What ROI? Scorpio is market leader. What ROI? What I'm talking to you now in this phase of my discussion? MCS, Management Control System, at various vital points, जिन्हें हम हिंदी में पड़ाव कहते हैं, in the life cycle of a business, life cycle of a product, life cycle of a plant. When I say plant A and plant B, plant A is old but very mature plant, system wise. Okay, plant B is very young, energetic but not so mature. So both have their advantages and disadvantages. Yeah. So how do we see that the management control system maturity is borrowed from plant A by plant B, right? And how the tougher KRAs, tougher benchmarks and flexibility and energy is borrowed from plant B by plant A. It is interesting. Yeah. But this will have to be, I would say, facilitated through MCS by developing new benchmarks for both the plants, plant A, plant B. Okay, so that both improvise. Because what we said in the very beginning, purpose of MCS, modification. Monitor, measure, modify. Monitor, measure, modify. There is always a scope for modification. When I say modification, okay, it need not be always improvisation. Huh? It may be replacement also, a parallel thought. I always take interest in philosophy and I apply a word here from Jainism. In Jainism, Jain philosophy, there is a word called Anekantavad. Anekantavad is nothing but parallel thinking, respect for plurality, respect for different thoughts. And they are applicable to MCS also, management control system. Okay, we should not be the management accountants on one track. And that comes back to what? That is what is the very vital discussion here. To what extent can we apply innovation in finance? Therefore, innovation to management accounting. Therefore, innovation to IRR. Innovation to ROI. Can there be? There is a business ROI. Agreed. Okay. Now, can I bring it down in my management control system so that my monitoring improves? Product ROI, process ROI, place or market ROI, territory ROI, and people ROI. Okay. I apply ROI to these 4. When I say product ROI, I can extend it further. Okay. In same product, there could be 3 categories. Say international Lux, Liril, and Lifebuoy. Yeah. So it is what you call bath soap, toilet soap. But can there be an ROI applied to each product? Now there comes the challenge. Okay. The challenge of what? Common cost allocation and common asset allocation. And therefore, the discussion of activity-based costing, objective-based costing, etc., etc. So if I really want to improve management control system, okay, at level 1, can I view ROI, product-wise, process-wise, place-wise, people-wise? Then the challenge is what? Common cost apportionment, common asset apportionment, cross subsidization, and there are market challenges. Okay. In the life cycle of a great product, which was great yesterday, now it has suddenly become weak because there is a lesser quality but far more cheaper product coming from China. And that is threatening my market leadership. Yeah. Suddenly I can't cut down on cost. I can't subsidize it at the cost of other products and other brands. But this product should survive till it gets revived. And this is a very vital phase which has to be handled by my MCS. And I can tell you, many entrepreneurs, okay, they face this dilemma. Should I discontinue? Should I withdraw from the market? Or I can't take on the Chinese competitor. लेकिन इतने साल का मेरा वो प्रोडक्ट जो है, which has been my, I would say, growth engine. In every business organization, you know, if there are A, B, C, three types of products, 50% are A, 30% are B, and 20% are C. B are so-so products, break even. A are the profit making. C are the loss incurring products. Okay, so in my management control system, A, B, C, common cost apportionment, challenge, common asset allocation, challenge. But what I remind you, something is better than nothing. Okay, so look at group of processes, group of activities, group of products. Now, a critical example could be an automobile company, OEM, and it is making for its vehicle 300 components. Now, controlling cost of each component, its performance, quality performance, suitability, improvisation, some KRAs, some benchmarks, especially cost is a benchmark, but 300 components. Yeah. Now, you can imagine you are handling a client case, you are a management accountant consultant for a dealer of Tata Motors, dealer of Mahindra, or dealer of Ashok Leyland or TAPE or whatever. Now, you can imagine a dealer selling trucks. Yeah, there could be 3-4 major categories of trucks. And in each category, there could be 4 or 5 varieties. So a dealer handling an inventory of 20 types of trucks, huge inventory, involvement of working capital, huge bank finance, okay, cost of borrowing, blah, blah, blah. So the ROI of a dealer is getting very seriously impacted by his inventory. Yeah. So is the case of a component distributor. I'm just sharing an example with you. What MCS do you develop for a dealer who is handling 20-30 types of trucks? Okay, sitting on his head. And 80% of his working capital is 100 crore and 80 crore is stuck with his inventory. Now I'm taking you to the another area of innovation, which is interesting, vital and useful. Okay, no MCS can work comfortably without formatting. And this formatting is very important, which is part of systemizing my MCS. As I said, CBA, benchmarking are at the core of MCS. Now I'm coming to what? The formatting of MCS, management control system. Can you develop certain simple, useful formats? Okay, where the MCS is driven through those formats for your client, for your, if you are in a manufacturing company, for your internal stakeholders, clients. A very simple example is what? Again, inventory control. XYZ, ABC. XYZ, size of the inventory. ABC, quality of the inventory, age of the inventory. XYZ, ABC. Expand it further with the risk return mechanism. So there are some strategic items of inventory, routine items of inventory, slow moving items of inventory, blah, blah, blah. So the inventory is already under you. Outside this inventory, outside, okay, I mean, inside is the carrying cost. Outside is the price discount advantage, the ordering cost advantage, the delivery transportation cost advantage. I'm just sharing one example with you. Now, what MCS format do you develop for your client or for your internal stakeholders? Simple formats. Okay, you can imagine you are a teacher, you are a management accountant, and you are also a professor. You are teaching management accounting to the budding cost accountants in a college or at a chapter. This is my experience. If you develop a format, okay, even a format for conducting activity-based costing, objective-based costing, life cycle costing, target-based costing. Okay, there are various approaches to costing, but each and every time, if you format it, your client, your internal stakeholders would find it very useful. Very useful. And that is your value contribution. So friends, when I'm talking about systemization to help improve, strengthen MCS, systemization has got 4 parts. Number 1, accounting systemization. Okay. I mean, we develop a accounting policy framework, say for common cost allocation, profit center concept, cost center concept, blah, blah, blah. All financial parameters, accounting policy systemization. Number 1. Okay. The second part of systemization, okay, is the technical systemization. Okay. Especially your MCS is working for manufacturing, purchase, procurement, marketing people. So the second part is the technology application. Okay. So accounting application, technology application, number 2. Number 3, I already spoke about is the application for handling uncertainty and risk of your systemization, a special area of systemization. You have to work on it with a very focus. Number 3. And number 4 is the behavioral systemization. Okay. There is a what you call behavioral accounting, behavioral finance, behavioral economics. You might have studied them. Okay. Behavior matters. One example I shared with you. Again, MCS based example. Performance measurement, performance appraisal. Okay. In the salary calculation, suppose under MCS, we develop a KRA. And what is that? 20% of employee salary, 20%, example, shall be driven by his financial performance, cost performance. Okay. For a marketing guy, sales performance, price performance, sales gross margin performance, etc., etc. Now, the challenge here is, if I share an example with you, we all know as cost accountants, management accountants, various types of costs, breakup, etc., etc. Element-wise breakup, behavior-wise breakup, accounting view of cost, visibility of cost, blah, blah, blah. But let us not forget the behavior of cost, okay, depending on what? The behavior of a performer. So number 1, cost under my control and my cost, no problem. Number 2, my cost, but someone incurs for me. So purchase guy incurs a cost, gets me raw material. Or an HR guy gets me an employee, but he decides the salary. But the salary is my cost. I am the cost center. So my cost, but someone incurs. The third bigger challenge is, okay, somebody's cost, someone incurs, and a portion comes to me. Especially corporate common costs, headquarter costs, common R&D costs. Okay, quite a few common costs. A portion comes to my factory. A portion comes to my product. A portion comes to my department. Someone incurs somebody's cost and a portion comes to me. I have 2 problems here. Is someone guy who is incurring his cost, is he enough efficient in incurring his cost? My first suspicion. And my second problem is what part of that common cost I should absorb. There is always a parental concept here. And the parental concept is what? The owner management expects a strong product, a strong plant, a strong territory, a strong location to absorb bigger portion of common cost. But the strong plant or the strong product team says, we don't need the guidance from the top management or corporate common resources. We don't need because we are already strong enough. So we need not absorb a bigger portion of that common cost. Why you are loading to us? This third challenge. And the fourth challenge is nobody's cost, therefore it is everybody's cost. A natural calamity takes place. Earthquake, flood, or some such thing, or maybe some social riot, and your plant is damaged. Your factory is damaged. Common cost. But there are 10 plants across India. One plant got damaged. That total common cost as a result of social riot or some natural calamity, we all agree in principle, it's a common cost, all options should absorb. But how do we absorb? In what amount of time? How do we, absorb it or amortize it? And with what ratio? Yeah. So I call it as cost by control, cost through empowerment. Now this becomes again a challenge area in an MCS. So friends, can we develop some such mechanisms where you are launching your product in an unknown market, German or British or European market, where there are big players already existing, but your product should reach there at a highly subsidized price. We call it entry level pricing. But is my management control system monitoring their product performance at launch level, takeoff level, consolidation in European market? Okay, so this again comes back to us, we management accountants. How do we develop that MCS for a special product which I'm exporting? Okay, or a product which is now, as I said, competing with a Chinese product. Or number three, a product I want to launch in a down market. Okay, I mean, again, a practical example I should share with you. Okay, Bedekar Lonche and Masale Wale, Bedekars, they're well known in Mumbai. Their pickles and their spices are well known. Yeah, they approach us for their strategic plan. Problem with Bedekars was, big problem, was size. Other competitors from Pune, Ahmednagar, Maharashtra, even I would say other states, only 20, 30-year older or old, okay, we're at a much bigger volume, bigger top line, but Bedekar 100+ year old brand. Yeah, the challenge was size. Why? Because product differentiation. They were making high quality, high price. Hello. Please unmute yourself. Sorry, mute yourself. Coming back. So product differentiation. Like I already made a reference to Hindustan Liver, International Lux, Liril and Lifebuoy. जिसको जो मांगता है वो देने वाले हैं. Okay. So I told Bedekars, let us go for product differentiation. Your great quality but expensive pickle may not be acceptable to 30,000 canteens across Mumbai and Navi Mumbai. Yeah, because they are expensive. And the customer coming to a Janta canteen is expecting a workable pickle, Janta pickle. What is the conclusion here? This again is the challenge for a business model. Okay, your business model requires product differentiation. Now the Bedekars were worried. They said, but we are known for high quality, high price product. So if we come with a B category product, is it not going to impact our brand equity that we are branded for so and so product? I said, size is a challenge for you. Yeah. Otherwise you become global. Okay. Now their products, their pickles and spices go abroad. Agreed. Through Maharashtra Mandal and Maharashtra groups, etc. But that doesn't bring enough size to you. And size matters in the long run. Okay, profitability ROI matters, but in long run, size matters. Okay, if you don't have size, your competition may simply push you out from the market because the competition has got economy of scale. The Chinese model, they work on size, volume. So conclusion here, we management accountants, we have to think strategically. Okay, before a strategy comes up for discussion, what is my strategic cost benefit analysis? Therefore, what benchmarks I develop, which are of a long-term nature, which are part of the management control system. Okay, let us go for product differentiation, foreign market, export market, okay, or vendors from China. Okay, or as I said, entrepreneurial salary structure. They're connecting salary of each and every employee to performance, and performance connected to ROI. Okay, so there is a connectivity at bottom level, workers and supervisors. Little above them are my junior officers and I would say assistant managers. Above them, middle management, and above them is the top management. Now, the challenge for we all management accountants is what? Connecting MCS with BCS and BCS with OCS. Management control system, okay, which I repeat is a vehicle of implementing strategic plan, but it is 90% full of strategic parameters, broad financial parameters. They have to be converted into workable parameters, periodic parameters through BCS, that is budgetary control system. And the budgetary control system, okay, comes down to operational control system, daily parameters, weekly parameters, which are more of an operational nature, technical nature, physical number, which my workers and supervisors understand. But at the same time, I should see that my worker and supervisor also understands the connect between his operational performance and ROI expected. This also is part of my MCS. And how do we strengthen MCS? Okay, by taking MCS indirectly, invisibly, okay, I would say even notionally to the bottom of the pyramid. Yeah. And that's where the MCS starts giving me result operationally. Okay, but I also remind you, converting all those operational triggers into financial parameters, financial numbers. So friends, to the last part of my discussion, I now come to, because we will be closing by 7:30. So the last part of my discussion again goes back to managerial economics. Okay, how do we improvise MCS? It also comes back to innovation in finance. I made a reference to IRR, ROI, etc., etc. Okay, but coming back to what? ROI benchmarking. This is my last part of my discussion, because I mentioned to you about risk return mechanism, uncertainty management mechanism, okay, application of AI, benchmarking, cost benefit analysis, systemization, 4 types of systemization. The scope is wider and wider. More we go deeper and deeper, the scope is wider and wider. Okay, but then that also comes back to what? We're learning new areas, re-equipping ourselves. So one such area I'm just sharing with you. Okay, managerial economics and management accounting can be combined for what? ROI benchmarking. If I raise a question here, okay, how many of us know what average ROI as on today in India every business should expect? I'm talking about operating ROI and not post-tax ROI. PBIT, profit before interest and tax, divided by total investment, operating ROI, business ROI, gross ROI. Okay, across the economy, across the country, any business, minimum operating ROI, what Indian economy should offer to me. I'm sitting in Dubai, Singapore, or I'm sitting in, say, some such country outside, and I want to invest in India. But I'm comparing India versus Indonesia versus Singapore versus Canada. Level 1 comparison. That is economy level ROI benchmarking. Now I selected India. In India, I should invest in which industry? Automobile, fertilizer, agro-base, FMCG. So I need to know industry level ROI. I decided to invest in automobile industry. Level 2 ROI benchmarking. Level 3 ROI benchmarking in that industry, automobile industry. Okay, I should invest in which company? Okay, as an investor. Okay, should I invest in an OEM or a vendor company, automobile vendor, automobile dealer, or a company, listed, unlisted, organization? So level 3 benchmarking is organizational level. Level 4 benchmarking is sector or segment. Okay, I decided to invest in Tata Motors. But should I invest in Tata Motor passenger vehicle business or commercial vehicle business? Segment. So there are 4 levels of ROI benchmarking. Economy level benchmarking, industry level benchmarking, organizational or organization level benchmarking, and segmental benchmarking. I shared with you only one example. Okay, there are n number of examples of innovation in finance which strengthen MCS. And now the last example I spoke about in my yesterday session also, which was organized by our Central Council member, Professional Development, Management Accountant Magazine Committee. They organized my session and I refer to this. Very interesting. What is that? As a management accountant, I should also add to the, little bit, to the tension of my client. अगर मैं क्लाइंट को थोड़ा टेंशन नहीं दूंगा तो मेरा इंपॉर्टेंस कैसे बढ़ेगा? Okay, तो क्लाइंट को ऑफ कोर्स प्रोफेशनल टेंशन in the positive interest of my client's growth. Example, my client is using equity capital, paying dividends, using borrowed capital, paying interest, but he's using reinvested profits also. We call them reserves in British accounting, reserves. I use a better word, reinvested profit. It's simple. And there is no cost calculated on it. Now you pick up 10 listed companies from Indian stock markets. आपको बहुत मजा आएगा sir. You pick up 10 listed companies, reputed, maybe blue chip companies from the index itself, and attach the WACC, weighted average cost of capital, to their reserves sitting in their balance sheet, and then measure their performance in terms of economic value added. I can tell you, out of 10, 9 may come out with a negative EVA, negative economic value added. I have done this exercise. I have applied it to a highly reputed petroleum company from the private sector. Naam nahi lunga. EVA was negative for all earlier 10 years. If you apply opportunity cost to reserves, this also is part of MCS. Like a typical Marwadi brother of mine, I'm a Marwadi, I mean by birth, although culturally I'm a Maharashtrian. My Marwadi cousin brother, in his cost factoring, costing, if he applies opportunity cost of his own fund, own capital, and he says there is an opportunity cost of my own capital, okay, and then he calculates. Okay, ठीक है, but what about its benchmarking? What costs are you attaching to your own capital? And then tomorrow you would say, I am managing the business. I am owner manager. I don't have a separate manager managing my business. I am the manager. So I should get a salary also, although I am a proprietorship. So how much is that salary? Okay. Now these notional calculations, they are also applicable to IRR calculations, especially when for a new product, you use idle resources, idle assets, which are lying idle. And that's the advantage of the new product, new process. And therefore, instead of outsourcing, you insource. These are the areas which, our clients, they really get stuck and they find them very complex. Okay. A simple decision like lease or own, under lease, operating lease, financial lease, dry lease, wet lease, long-term lease, short-term lease. Okay. Which lease I should go for? And there is no scope in my management control system because it's a specialized area. So conclusion, in the MCS, if at all we want to strengthen it, there are routine areas of MCS which we routinely handle. How do we improvise them? Through systemization, better systemization. And there are specialty areas. So there are routine areas and specialty areas. Work more on the specialty areas so that we management accountants become more and more indispensable because we contribute more and more value there. So friends, to the end of my discussion, I suggest you to read a couple of books authored by me. Please don't misunderstand me that I am promoting my books, but they are readily available to you. Number 1, Strategic Financial Management. You want to read more about MCS and valuation, MCS and leasing, okay? Innovation in IRR, DCF, you can read this book, Strategic Financial Management. Number 2, I said, MCS is the driver of strategic plan. You should read my book on strategic planning. Okay, strategic planning, execution and measurement. Published by CRC Press, USA. Its Indian edition is available. It's a handbook on strategic planning. Okay, and therefore it takes you to benchmarking, KRAs, KPIs, etc., etc. Yeah. Number 3 book, you should read Practical Aspects of Human Resource Management. Practical Aspects of Human Resource Management. Again, authored by me. Because HR is very much part of strategic planning. And there are many areas a management accountant can handle in HR management. Like one area could be long-term settlement, wage restructuring, which is a combination of management accounting and managerial economics. Because the wage is revised, okay, on 3 levels. 1, economic factors. 2, regional factors, where the plant is located. And 3, the capacity of my company to pay, my business model, my earning capacity. But this is a combination of management accounting and managerial economics, business economics. We management accountant, I'm telling you out of my own experience. We have handled many such LTS much more beautifully, okay, than the HR and IR consultants. We brought many new things to table, and the HR and IR executives of the client organizations were very happy. Yeah, so read the book, Practical Aspects of Human Resource Management. Okay, you would come across many areas where a management accountant can contribute a lot. Okay, number 4 book, which was co-authored by me and my wife. My wife also is a fellow member of our institute. Is a very simple book, Finance Made Simple. Okay, Finance Made Simple. Why? Because if your ideas as a management accountant are to be accepted by the technocrats in your organization, you have to see that finance is made simple for them. Okay, don't get worried that if the engineers become finance savvy, okay, then they would reduce your usability in the organization. No, your respect would grow. They would accept you much more. And the innovation that you are proposing, they would accept it wholeheartedly. And the last book, which is yet to come to market, you can wait for another 6 months. It's a book with a title, Aspiring to be a CEO. Aspiring to be a CEO. So friends, we are CMAs, but we should aspire to be CFO first and then CEO of a business organization. I know a couple of multinational companies, even Indian companies, where management accountants have become not just CFO, have become CEO. There are a few public sector enterprises in India where the CFOs are management accountants and aspiring to be CEOs. Okay, so friends, we can extend a bit if at all we need. Now, if you have questions, you can raise those questions. I welcome your questions. But maybe if one of you can help me, if there are questions already in the bucket there, I'm not able to read them, or I request you unmute yourself and raise a question. Okay. You can unmute and raise a question. You can also note down my WhatsApp number. My WhatsApp number is 98200-62116. 98200-62116. This is my mobile number, WhatsApp number. My email address is very simple. You know my name, it is visible, Girish Jakotia. Girish Jakotia, one word, @gmail.com. Okay, so I'm a little more fast on answering WhatsApp messages. You have a query tomorrow or maybe a month later, write me a WhatsApp message, give a reference of today's session. Okay, if possible, I may answer your query even later also. Any questions, please? Because my presentation is over. Question. Please unmute yourself and raise a question. Become audio. I mean, raise a question. If at all you have a question. Yeah. No question? Or the questions are not visible? WRC admin, please.
Hello. I guess some problem. Yes.
Gauri ji.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, I think there is no questions, so we can conclude the session.
Please. Sure.
Thank you very much for your thoughtful session, sir, and sparing your time. Thank you very much from WRC.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good night,
Thank you
sir.
to all of you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.